Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Scott Engler. I'm a published author and thought leader on contemporary job search strategies and really optimizing your LinkedIn for professional branding and upgrading it to attract better opportunities, because that is where 95% of recruiters are looking for top talent. So I've had a question that has been coming up a lot more the past few weeks. And so I just wanted to do a video because I know when a lot of people are asking the same question or having the same expectation, it might help other people understand. And this happens to do with people that are wanting someone to write their actual LinkedIn profile for them and the content on there, just the same way that a lot of resume writers will actually go in and write the resume for the person and do that type of service. So I want to explain the difference that I've found in the quality of results by not doing it that way, and what I do instead, just to kind of give that idea and really show you what actually happens. So what I tell people all the time that I work with is that you are the expert on your work experience. You're the expert on, what your passions are. And really what I'm doing as I'm working with people and coaching is I am helping bring out that information, especially when, I work with a lot more executives and people that have been in a lot of different roles or moved up to different roles throughout their career. And so it becomes a little challenging, right, to condense it and to articulate it in a way that makes sense. And with their LinkedIn profile, a lot of times they're just, it's somebody that's, 50, 55, 60 years old. They don't really understand how to use LinkedIn. So there is that pain point, and they really just want somebody to write it for them. So here's what I find with that is that since people are the expert on their own industry, and I've heard this from people that have had the opposite where they have someone write it for them, it is not only a lot more time consuming, and that means more money involved to hire someone to do it for you, but really if you want someone to do it well. And what I've heard and what I found myself is when you try to write it for the person, since I'm not the expert on the information, and a lot of times I'm just going with what I'm given instead of kind of taking that time to draw out what they really want and what they've done, because people are constantly omitting stuff, especially if not intentionally, just because they haven't had to really think in those terms for so long, maybe 20 years. And it's like there's this level of disconnect and dissatisfaction, because then if I'm going ahead and just writing something for somebody, it's not really sticking for the individual. And then what happens is it takes a lot longer to have extra phone calls and do it that way. On top of which is that it's sort of like the concept of, teaching somebody to fish rather than fishing for them. And what's really going to happen, especially as we are now seeing the shift and people are becoming more consultants and the length of time that they're at an organization is so much shorter, that you're going to have to do it again. And then you would have to hire me again and pay me again to redo it and rewrite it for you 2 years down the road. So what I really do instead is actually a lot more efficient and effective of a service. And so I really try to explain that to people, because I trust me, I understand the feeling when something feels painful and you're already stressed, and maybe, a lot of my clients already are working at a job, so they don't have that extra free time. Why they just want someone to do it for them. So I totally get that. And I do appreciate where they're coming from. What I'm trying to explain, and hopefully doing a decent enough job about in this frequently asked question or concern, is that by taking the extra time to do it now, then you're going to be set up for success later. And that's why I even have a corresponding course, and my calls with people are recorded actually. And so even the things on the platform that might be a little frustrating, you could go back and watch it. And I even give some of my clients, depending on the way that they learn better or whatnot, time during our call, and this is what I do in workshops too, to actually make those changes right then and there. So if we're going through some stuff and they're learning things, like some people prefer to wait after, and they might rewatch the video and make the changes, and then we'll come back and relook at it. And I do take notes before the call, so I'm already ready with the feedback to give them and suggestions on what they could write instead. but really essentially is like that way you're getting the ideas and concepts and the understanding of how to do this. So when truthfully, you probably will be transitioning in either some type of role or updating things that you're currently doing at your company, you'll know how to do it yourself. So, you know, I am saving you that time and frustration, not only at the beginning stages, but also in the later stages. And so what people find is that even though it seems like a pain point and I don't want to do it, you know, and I want someone else to do it for me, when we start collaborating together, they actually get excited because we're talking about what they really want. And once I'm able to help them tap into that, and then I'm able to help them kind of draw out that information, I kind of help them with the phrasing of it, and then they could just simply write it and maybe put a little bit in their own words. And there's all sorts of ways you could do this. I had a client recently that just wasn't as good with the writing of the stuff. So what helped him was to actually speak what, you know, he wanted to say about his experience and then just transcribe it onto paper. So there's all sorts of different ways that I found to work with people to make this process a lot more effective, a lot less painful than people would think. And so I just wanted to share that today. If you are in that situation where you're feeling that way, I highly recommend considering this approach. And if you want to work with someone that spent the last 6 years really now helping thousands of people with this specific area, I recommend reaching out to me on LinkedIn with the InMail. Please put in your headline "serious inquiry," because otherwise I get a lot of types of requests. I might not see it otherwise. So that would be my recommendation to you, so it could really help you up-level your LinkedIn and really just attract the right opportunities to you on the site where 95% of recruiters are looking for top talent. So that's what I got today. Thanks.